guys, welcome back to The Funny Thing Is. I'm your host, Nicole Birch, where every week we bring you someone who shares a life-changing event, the medicine they took to get better, and the funniest lesson they learned along the way. Today is no exception. Today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine that I've known for probably a decade. Mm-hmm. She is an actress, and you know her from claim to fame, Carly Reeves.
Yes.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
I was thinking, I was going to say we met doing Seven Guys, but I was like, no, I would have had to have known you before then. We met in an acting class.
We met in an acting class.
Was it a casting workshop or was
it was the one in like Sherman Oaks on Ventura?
Was that the one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
I forget what it
I remember
was.
You were really good.
It was like for, you know, when you did like those auditions for like agencies and stuff.
Yes.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so long. It was like a decade. Well, it would have been more than a decade ago, I think.
Yeah. I think it was a long.
Seven Guys was like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I wrote a show based on my life called The Seven Guys, and Carly played me at age 27.
Yeah.
With the on again, off again relationship. You were opposite a friend of mine, Trevor Tevel, and you guys, your chemistry was fire.
It was so much fun.
It was just like, I love you, I hate you. I love you, I hate you. And then you'd make out. And which was probably Trevor's favorite thing to be cast in, to be honest. He's like, this is who I get to make out with? Great. It's a good day.
It's very true to like who I am, actually. I'm just like crass and like, you know, disgusting like that. But
I was like, I definitely want you playing this role. And it was great. And then you went to New York.
Yeah.
And then I met you in New York. We hung out in New York that one night. That's so funny. So what is a life-changing event you want to share? I know.
Well, I guess the biggest thing that has had the most effect on me was essentially just being a really reckless 20-something-year-old back in my day. I got in a lot of trouble, criminal trouble, like arrested.
Ooh, tell me, like, what were we arrested for?
I mean, it's all related to drinking.
Okay.
But like, the thing is that it was like a period of time. And I think the reason why I was so reckless and stuff is it's a long history of my story and how it kind of started. But I think what happened was when, you know, I grew up in LA. So it's just like, you grow up pretty fast if you grow up here. And, you know, I never even thought I would become this person that like got in trouble all the time, because I was a pretty good student. And I was like, but I rebelled a lot. And I was drinking a lot in high school, which I'm like, you're not even like 16, 14. I was drinking like ridiculous amounts when I shouldn't have been. Right. And I didn't know my level or my limits. And so
Are you an only child? What's the family name?
No. So I have an older sister and then I have a half sister. My parents divorced when I was 4. So I kind of had a little bit of like an abandonment issue from my dad, just because I didn't really grow up with a strong like male figure. Got it. My uncles were pretty much the closest thing to that. And I think I just started to act out. Like I only loved my relationship. I basically had relationships with men that were just unhealthy. Yeah. Because of that, you know?
Yeah. I feel this so, to my core. I feel this. Yeah.
It started just from that. And I think that's what got me into the drinking, was just like trying to be someone I wasn't, honestly. And I struggled because I just never really learned to love myself until like much later on. I was like just hanging out with the wrong people. Right. It was just bad. And that led to a lot of like family drama with me, like, you know, getting drunk at events and stuff like that. And it was just not good. Right. And I had a really bad relationship with alcohol.
Can I ask, when you were like acting out at family events, was it like, do you think you were doing it for attention, or were you just doing alcohol to medicate and then it turned into
that? I think it was both. Honestly. Yeah, okay. Because I was like, my sister is not a big drinker. Mom, not a big drinker. Like my aunt and uncle, they don't really drink at all. Yeah. So the only one that has problems is probably my cousin, which we all know about. But
yeah. Oh, wait, let's say real quick who your aunt and uncle are.
Oh, Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks.
Right. Your mom is her
Rita's
sister.
Yeah.
And Chet is your cousin.
And Chet is my cousin, my blood cousin.
Which he's great, dude. I loved him in the basketball series.
I know. He's
so good.
He's doing great. Like,
so good.
I mean, he's like.
Is he Rita and Tom's biological?
Yeah.
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 Love it.
Which makes him my blood cousin.
Which is so funny.
But, we were the only ones that kind of like were a little crazy in the family. So I think I was acting out a lot. And I think that catalyst basically just ended up with a bad self-esteem issue. And I
Right.
just was not, I didn't love myself. I didn't think I was like worthy of having a good relationship with a guy. So like I literally didn't even date for like 10 years in my 30s. I dated here and there, but I didn't have like a serious relationship.
Hmm.
Because I just feel like a lot of the consequences for my drinking like came later on in life. And I was like, well, damn, like that's not good. Cause I just never nipped it in the butt. Like, I definitely did rehab and stuff like that.
How old were
But
you when you did rehab?
it was 2009. So I think I was like 28.
Okay. Yeah.
And the biggest problem, well, the biggest real issue was when I got kicked off a trip in Greece with my family.
Oh, let's talk about how old were you then?
Yeah, 19.
Okay. So let's talk
And
about
I was just like dabbling with alcohol, like hiding it, because you can drink at 18 in Europe.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, then that means I can drink. So I was hiding it. And then I ended up taking like a Valium pill, which I had never taken before. But I was like, oh, I heard this fucks you up, So I
Yeah.
was like, let me do that. And I blacked out like a crazy person. I was screaming at my whole family. It was like a bad look.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Okay.
And that's when like my family, like they didn't want me there anymore. So I basically had to fend for myself in Greece with my mom. And we were no longer on the yacht in Greece. And it was really bad. So
Oh.
yeah, I had to do a lot of soul searching from then. And, my aunt and uncle definitely thought I needed rehab. They helped pay for rehab, which crazy enough, like I didn't think I was ready for it, which we now know I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I just I didn't embrace it the way I should have. But now my relationship with alcohol is much better. Like I'm not sober, but I definitely am not the way I used to be at
Right.
all. Like it's just I know my limits. I'm happier now, so I don't feel like I need to do that for attention or validation or anything like that. So it was kind of rough for a while, and I think that that event of getting the events, I guess it's
Right.
multiple events
Right.
of just consistently getting embarrassing myself and drinking was not a cute look.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I just basically had to learn the hard way that, I now my relationships with my family are like a little bit skewed just because of what I did. And,
Yeah, man, that's hard because it's like how we are as kids. Like I would see my aunt just pulled out an old VHS tape and I
yeah,
was like, that was me at 13, 14, 15. Like, and I'm watching, I'm like such a fucking asshole.
yeah.
I'm like a fucking asshole. And by the way, my aunt is the nicest. She's Mother Teresa.
Ugh.
And I was not as clippy with her as I was other people, but I was a little clippy. And I'm like, I wanted to smack myself in the face. But also, like, they all still love me and they all
Yeah.
get that it was a phase. And I understand, like, there were multiple events and stuff. So I understand, like, that, maybe why they kicked you off the yacht. But at the same time, you got to be like,
Yeah. I was just being,
I'm in
I was
my
a
40s
kid. I
now.
was young.
Like,
Yeah. I made mistakes,
when
like,
do you think the last embarrassing thing that you did happened?
it was at their anniversary party in front of like Oprah and Barack Obama and all those people.
When was that?
So
Don't tell me it was last year.
No, it
Okay.
was like but it was the last one that I did that was pretty bad, and that was 2018.
Okay.
So
So like 7 years ago. Okay.
yeah, I think that's the other thing. When you're around all these celebrities all the time, it gets really nerve-wracking. Like I always tried to overcompensate because I thought, oh, I have to drink in order to like look cool
Loosen
and
up and
and then schmooze with people and be comfortable with all these celebrities around. But in reality, like I looked like the fool because like
Yeah.
none of these celebrities were drinking.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't remember like anyone really drinking at that party that much. I mean, they had a bar and everything. I had to sing in front of everyone, which is a whole other story. They had like a talent show and I got picked to like randomly to sing up there. And I sang.
Are you a singer?
I mean, yeah, I was in
Okay.
musical theater, but
Okay.
like So that wasn't the bad part. I wasn't drunk at that point, but that's what like that nervousness kind of like, okay, now I'm going to drink. Cause I was like,
Well,
so
yeah, it's like
scared.
literally putting your like self-worth on display. Like it's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
hitting that. Oh
All
my
these
God.
celebrities are
Oh
like
my
looking
God.
at me and judging me.
This is
So
like
I
a,
was like, and so I just never really thought I was like worthy of like, Rita and Tom, they've struggled with me a lot. I've given them a hard time for some things,
yeah.
but they I think they now accept me for who I am, but it's like as you get older too, like family dynamics change.
Dude, tell me about it.
You guys move on from each other, and now our relationship, like I wish it was better, but like it's more my relationship with my aunt is like not great.
Yeah.
My relationship with my mom's always been there and supported me and has been there for me, but I really need to do some like soul searching and some diving into the why it is that I would go for alcohol.
Right.
So yeah, it was a scary time. I was unsure of who I was. And so it came a lot later, my discovery of like my worth and stuff like that.
Right.
It was just it's just unfortunate that it had to come at the like, detriment of all my bad the events that I did,
Right.
like all the terrible I was at an HBO Golden Globes party, like I'm like, let me get pictures with people. And I was like drinking. I was like, it's just not the cute look to
Yeah.
do if you're like in a family that's famous.
At the anniversary party, what were you just drunk or was there like a specific thing?
After I performed, I was so nervous after that. And like people were saying you did great, this and that. But I drank. And then I remember going up to like Michelle Obama and being like, how are we gonna get away from Trump? How are we? I was like, Trump is so terrible. And she's like, we gotta fight. She's like, we gotta fight. And I'm like, okay, Michelle. And I was like cornering. It was really bad. I was like, I feel like I was almost like cornering her a little bit, like 'cause she was up against the stage. And I was like, and then Chet like grabs me. He's like, come on, Carly, get over here. I was like, oh my God. So, and Chet has also been I know.
I love that Chet has your back. I love that.
Well, he's sober now, and we've talked about sobriety and stuff like that. And I've tried AA. Like I went to AA a lot. I know all the AA meetings in LA. I could tell you all of them. I even tried doing the steps. I got a sponsor. I did all of those things, but eventually, and I was, sober for periods of time, but I always felt like it never felt comfortable in being sober for me. When I was trying to stop drinking, I felt like I wanted to drink more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like because you're thinking about it so much and it's on your mind so much that you're like, well, screw it. Like I just can't stand the chaos that's going in your head. And it's like, but when I stop thinking about trying not to drink, then I drink less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a weird thing I had to learn over time. But growing up in LA and like driving your friends around in college, like drunk and stuff, that was like my role. Like
your existence. Yeah.
I was the party girl that drove everyone around and it was just not really, it wasn't very safe and it wasn't good.
Right.
So I had to learn just to not be so reckless.
Yeah. I was doing like drinking, binge eating. I was doing like a bunch of stuff to like stuff down. Right.
Yeah.
And so I got into therapy and I remember going through therapy and pretty quickly, if somebody tells me, hey, you're doing this because of this, I can almost immediately stop.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like, hey, you're dating these kind of guys because of your father wound. And you're like, what the fuck's that mean? And they're like, well, your self-esteem and your job because you feel abandonment issues and blah, blah, blah. And, and I was like, oh God. So like I could kind of change it a little bit, but I still wanted the bad boy. And I could kind of change my eating stuff, but I still wanted the food. And then the alcohol, that was the one where I was like, but I can't just have one.
Yeah.
Because why?
Yeah.
And then so I'd want 10.
Right.
And like I realized, and then I slowed down. But then after having Everly, when Everly started going over to her dad's, I was lonely. I was by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know what my identity was because I wasn't a mom this weekend,
Right.
And so it started picking back up. And I realized what it was is the thoughts that you're like, every time I think about not drinking, I think about it more.
Yeah.
It's because the drinking dials down all those thoughts, all the manic thoughts,
Right.
the subconscious daddy shit, all the way to like, hey,
Here
should I
comes
be
subconscious daddy shit.
you know what I mean? All the
No, I
subconscious
know.
daddy shit, all the way to like more present day stuff where you're like, I've got so much shit I don't want to think about. I want
Yeah.
to turn it the fuck off.
Mhm.
And so like whenever Lee would go with him, it took like 6 weeks of him, like 6 exchanges
Right.
where I was like, oh, I can't drink on weekends. She's not here.
Uh-huh.
And the first 3 were fucking awful because all
Right.
I had were my thoughts.
Right.
And then you push through it and then you're better. But it's also
Right.
like those first 3 weeks, you're like, I don't want to fucking think. Oh, I miss my kid. I want to
Yeah.
smell her hair. This
Yeah.
is a shitty arrangement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so it, like, that's what it
I
is. So
know.
when you're like, hey, I shouldn't be drinking, of course that's all you're going to
and
think
also
about.
when like your entire life is built around, oh, you have to, you're an alcoholic, you better stop drinking. And like my aunt and everyone's telling
You've
me
been
that I'm an
labeled.
alcoholic. And I'm like, can I just figure it out on my own? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, and I do truly believe that like you can change. If like I was an alcoholic then, like I don't think I'm an alcoholic now.
Yeah.
And I do think that that's
Do you
possible.
think that you were an alcoholic?
I think I abused alcohol a lot.
Yeah.
And I used it. I drank the most around the family, to be honest. I was like nervous around the family
Oh, that's interesting.
because I wanted so much.
That's your
like,
trigger.
Rita's my trigger for sure. But I definitely would. I think that also having famous family members and wanting to be in their profession as well, like wanting to be an actor, I was constantly like, well, why is it not working out for me? You know, like why, like they can do it. Like, why can't I do it?
Right.
And then, my aunt, they know I'm talented and they've, helped me, a little bit, but like, I wanted more validation from them. Like I
Right.
wanted them to tell me like, we're so proud of you, you're great. And I just never really like got that. So
Yeah.
it really made me sad. And I would
And
drink
that's how
more.
you compensate.
Yeah.
That's how you compensate.
I would drink more. And and I don't even know if they know that they had a lot to do with like me drinking. I think,
probably not.
you
Because they
know?
probably thought you were doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the other problem is like I couldn't prove to them that when I wasn't with them, I wasn't doing this all the time. It was only like when I was at events or something and I would my social anxiety went through the roof and I'd be like, I would have to drink. I was like, I wasn't really comfortable with myself, like ever.
Right.
Like it was just really, really hard. And then just also trying to live up to like who my aunt and uncle were and well, who am I? And I'm like, you lose yourself kind of with like, people just think, oh, you're the niece of that person. You're the niece of tell me. And I'm just like, well, aren't I something else? Like I'm I'm a good actor too. Like
You're a
I'm
great
funny.
actress.
Like I
You're a
do
great
this. Like
actress.
I'm like, so it was a struggle for a really long time.
When do you think that you started to come out of it? Because that was 2018 was the anniversary. So when do you think you started coming out of it? Because I've seen you in a very healthy relationship now with Matt.
Yeah.
Who I adore. We both found our Matt.
I know.
He's the best and he's successful. He's like an
Yeah.
executive producer. Like he's all these things.
I know.
And he's such a good guy.
He's like, I know. And I'm telling you, I didn't date really a good guy for like all my 30s pretty much. I was like just looking around in the wrong places and the apps weren't working for me. I was just like, I'm like, there's gotta be someone that like understands my crazy.
Yeah.
And he understands my
He
crazy.
does. And your guys' posts kill me.
I know.
Because the ones where you guys are kissing each other and it's like, oh, sweet,
cute.
sweet,
And
sweet.
then
And they know, and I'm like, you guys get each other
Yeah.
in a complete, he can get you in a different way.
Totally.
And
my
I love
mom
that.
says it too. And it's like, I think I really just needed someone by my side to really like support me and be like, oh, I get it. Like you do have a little bit of a drinking problem sometimes when it comes to like social events and, you kind of go over the top. But like, I think a lot of that also just stems from my like I was like fearful of like what would happen if I didn't do that. Like would people still like me? Like would people think I'm funny?
Absolutely.
Like, and it's just a silly thing that we tell ourselves that.
I also had a stepmother that would be like, before every audition, just have a glass of wine because you really loosen up.
Oh yeah.
And like, Nicole, if you just had a glass of wine, you're just so much more relaxed. And it is true that nobody was ever going to tell me I was an alcoholic. The reason they were never going to tell me I was an alcoholic was because I was so much fun. and I
Right.
came alive. And I
Uh-huh.
was like happy go lucky. But for me, the hangovers ended up going 1 day to 2 days. Now they last 3 days. And I'm like, oh, it's literally affecting my life. I
Right.
can't do it.
Uh-huh.
But
Mhm.
also, you know, somebody, because I'm a woohoo girl when I'm
Mhm.
drunk. So
Yeah.
nobody's going to be like, get off the bar, you know? They're like, she's fun. Because
Yeah.
I'm making everybody's day. I'm encouraging everybody.
That's what I would say.
I love everybody.
Yeah.
But I
You
was
feel like you have to fill this like gap that like everyone's like, oh, like if you're like if everyone's not having that party, the time of their lives, it's like, oh well, I'll come and then
Save
like
the day.
save the day, and I'm like I'm the attention whore, and I'm like,
yeah.
and then I'll just like be a ridiculous. I'll fall on the floor and people will be like, ah, she's
Yeah.
drunk, and it's just like the party girl's here. You
Yeah.
know, it's not cute anymore when
Yeah,
you're 40.
no, it's so less. And I think a lot of it for you has also been like maturity. I think we
Yeah.
keep doing the same thing over and over. Yeah, read what you have.
I said, oh, I was just gonna say, no, you're so right. Is I think it was just time and maturity and like learning my like that I don't really like being drunk anymore.
Yeah, me
Like I
neither.
used to like it because and now I'm just it's not like on my radar.
I just had this conversation with a guy who does like a bunch of astrology and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I said, and he's now sober too. And he goes, two. I'm not so neither of us are sober. I don't know why I said two. He said that there's like a shift in the universe or whatever. And I was like, it's so funny because I used to really enjoy, like, I knew what a glass of red wine would make me feel like. I knew what a glass of Chardonnay. I knew what vodka. I knew what tequila's a bad night.
Yeah.
Tequila's a bad night. I knew what each beverage would make me feel like, and none of them make me feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. I think our bodies change and our mind change. Something changes
shift.
when you're, and also you're right. Like I like 1 or 2 drinks. I'm like happy now. I'm like, okay, like I don't really need more than that. And
Yeah.
before I used to just want to keep going.
Yeah.
So
How long have you been with Matt now?
well, we dated in 2021 for 4 months. Then we broke up for
I remember that.
yeah, for like a year and a half maybe. And then we got back together in 2023 of like September or
Yeah.
something.
And when you guys got back together, it was
Yeah.
the happiest day of my life. I was literally like, because I could not believe when you guys broke up. I was like,
know.
no, because
I
we ran into each
know.
other at Shutters, and I was
we
like, oh
did.
my God.
I
was
know.
like, God.
I
He's
know.
great. I'm so glad it worked out.
I know. But so yeah, so I got a couple like DUIs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's definitely it's been really hard because it's kept me from working, honestly. Like
Really?
yeah, like well, first of all, I got my real estate license. I forgot to like disclose everything. Forgot.
It's not a felony, is it?
No.
Yeah.
But they're all misdemeanors, but you still need to disclose it. And if
Oh.
you don't disclose it, like
That's a red flag. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
even make it worse. So it was a really struggle to get my license at first, and then I got it. And then I also got a job that shot in Canada, and I realized I can't do that either because of my background. Because they don't allow anyone with DUIs into Canada. So now I spent like $30,000 or something for this like federal pardons waiver thing, which is like a rehabilitation thing to prove that I'm like not a crazy person.
Oh my God. I did not know that.
Oh yeah. It's crazy because things are shooting in Canada, and I'm like, those people don't have a DUI. Come on
You're
now.
like, I
I'm
saw
like,
his mugshot. I
I'm
saw
like,
his mugshot.
You grew up in LA. You must have a DUI. But like also like I was driving, my DUIs were early. I think one was like 2006, 2009. Oh yeah, 2009. I got a DUI in rehab.
What?
Oh God, this is the craziest story.
You got a DUI in rehab?
Yeah.
Okay, tell that story.
Okay. Well, I was there for 30 days, and then after 30 days, they give you like a little bit more freedom, and you can you live in a house after that with your, the girls. And so you get a little more freedom. And I had my car, and so one day we just went to the bowling alley for like to have fun on our day off or whatever. And there happened to be a bar there, and there was a girl that I was friends with, and she convinced me somehow to start drinking. And I just was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, I'm 56 days sober. We are not doing that. And like, she freaking convinced me. She was a bad influence. And then I drove no, we got back to the this is crazy. We got back to the rehab, and then she convinced me because her drug of choice was crack. So she wanted to go find some crack. And so I was like, okay. So I drove after I got back from rehab, from the bowling alley, and I drove and we actually found some. but
Carly, this is nuts.
And then I got pulled over and I was a complete disaster. I was like, I'm not drunk. I'm 56 days sober. Look at my pins. I'm like, I'm going back to Betty Ford right now.
Oh my
And
God.
it was just a nightmare. So that was really embarrassing. Can you imagine the call I had to make to Rita and Tom when I got a DUI in rehab and they paid for my rehab?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so I get the rift. I get the
There's
rift.
a rift.
There's a rift in that relationship. I get it.
They just don't trust me, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it might take some time to get that back. Yeah.
I definitely need to earn back their trust.
Yeah.
And I've done some things that, they're not so happy about.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
But like, that's the other thing. I mean, I'm just always trying to prove to them that I've changed. But like, it's once the damage is done, it's kind of like, I don't know, especially for someone like my aunt who holds grudges.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're with Matt in a social, has he been invited to any family things?
Oh yeah.
Would you, if he was like, all right, let's slow down, would you listen to him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even think I don't get that like nervousness anymore.
You don't go there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's great.
I don't go there anymore. I used to be like, oh God, like, I don't even know what my thought process was half the time. It was just, I didn't want to, I don't know.
But I also think you have Matt, which is like kind of a security blanket.
Absolutely.
We started doing this thing with when Everly would go to Craig's now, and I start getting manic and anxious, and I'm like, I just want to go out and have some drinks or like smoke a cigarette. Like I don't even smoke, like it just like something, right?
Yeah.
And I will lay down on the couch and Matt will just lay on top of me. And he's like a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
And then we do it for like 5 minutes. It's the weirdest fucking thing. And then I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. But if I didn't have him there,
I know.
I'd be 6 whiskeys deep.
That's actually a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I was so lonely. Yeah. I was so lonely and miserable. I was like, I'm never gonna meet anyone, and like I just didn't have anyone to take care of me. I felt like so. I was like, well, I was self-destructive, like self-loathing. All of those things were happening. I just thought
you
like,
be loved. Like there's a part of it's like, I just want to be loved. That's why like you're not feeling that at the family. So then you turn out, but if you're there with a partner who loves you, who's got your best interests it's just so fucking different, dude.
I know. And it's like my mom was always there for me, and she understands me now. She went to Al-Anon. So she like,
so did I.
She definitely knows like not to ask me about my drinking, not to like, cause I get really angry sometimes, but I'm like, I mean, now not so much, but at the time she would just be like, don't drink at Christmas. And like, I'm like, Mom, I can do whatever I want. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
So it's just like stupid. But I think it like led me to have like so much shame and guilt over my life. Like the shame I felt since doing all those terrible things, has stayed with me. And I think I still deal with it. I really do think I need to go to therapy again to like talk about the shame and guilt I have because.
Yeah. When did you go to therapy and how long?
I went to therapy in 2009 for a while, like, and it was obvious. And it was also from Rita that she gave me a one that was an alcohol specialist.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going through a phase. Like, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just partying a lot. I'm just a party girl. And I thought that was like, there was a distinction there, but like, I didn't see it that it could be a problem. I mean, obviously with the DUIs, it was a problem.
Yeah.
Like there was a problem there. But I just didn't know that was the way to handle it. Like I like sticking me in therapy because I was so, against like, I don't know. I wasn't against trying to get better but I just was like, sobriety was really hard for me to like
grasp
altogether. And even though I did it for months and stuff, I there were periods of time, but I just didn't feel like it was me. Like I felt like I wasn't being myself.
Right.
Which is so silly to say, but like I need a drink to be myself or anything. But I just felt like I was I was being someone I wasn't. Like I
Right.
was like, I'm happy. I'm happy not like being sober and this and that. And it was like I wasn't. I was actually like more upset
Miserable.
because I
Yeah.
was thinking about, oh, you can't have this. So and that's why
Yeah. And you're a bad person
I'm
for
a bad,
wanting
yeah,
it.
like
Yeah.
you can't have this. And I was like, so the shame and the guilt would flood me even
Yeah.
more because I was trying to be sober. And I was like, this is not a good thing to like. I mean, I know that Alcoholics Anonymous and the people that are in those programs, like good for you guys. Like I'm all for it if it
Yeah.
works for you. But I read books that like there's one book I read that was called The Naked Mind. Annie, this girl, she writes, she's like, just do like a 30-day, like treat it like an experiment and like see how you're feeling with every single day that you're not drinking and like, even if you do drink, like write it, like talk about it, like see how your feelings are, what made you want to go and do that drink. Or,
Right.
so it's just like a kind of like it's like a situation where you test it out and you
Right.
see what works for you.
Right.
And now that I'm older, I kind of realize, okay, I was just acting out a lot.
Right.
And I think that I don't think I'm an alcoholic, but I definitely had some issues growing
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
that I was using it to like, hide all my,
Well, and I think
emotion.
now, like, it doesn't sound like back then you would have been ready for therapy. It's like
Yeah.
going to the gym. Are you
Yeah.
ready to lose weight? You
Yeah.
have to be ready to lose. I fluctuate so much. I'm like,
Yeah.
only when I'm ready to do it, do I do it?
Right.
And it's the same thing, I think, with therapy. You have to be
Mhm.
like ready for it. And now I'm like, girl, you're like totally ready because now you're on the other side of the behavior part of it.
Right.
And you're ready to get to the root, which is like the shame and shit, and get rid of that. Take it all
know,
out. Yeah.
I know. It's been a struggle. I think I'm like, maybe the medicine is doing this podcast.
There you go. There you go.
But no, like the medicine I think that I took was just honestly giving myself, like loving myself, like honestly, like having more self-love, not not putting myself in situations where I, do get in trouble and
And then you
stuff.
have more shame because it's a
Yeah.
cycle. Because you're like,
Yeah.
this makes me uncomfortable, so I'm going to do something to
Yeah.
remedy it. But now I'm going to do something bad, and it's going to be more shame. And you're going to to get rid of the shame, you have to drink more to get it. It's just a cycle. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just tried not to put myself in those situations.
Yeah.
But like my mom knows, like I get really, anxious when I have to see the family and stuff like that sometimes. So now I just take medication. I also got on antidepressants and anti-anxiety pills
Great.
and all that stuff, which has helped. I took a lot from AA, like let go and let God. Like I
Mhm.
took a lot from it that I use in my life still, but like I'm not sober. So it's like,
Right.
but it's like, I think those steps are great for life, just spirituality in general. Like I still, like I have a better relationship with God. Like I feel like, I'm more like who I was meant to be now.
Right.
And I think in my 30s and 20s, I was struggling to like find out like, well, why doesn't anyone love me? Or like, why don't I have a boyfriend? Why don't I like, I want to get married and have children. Like now it's like I wasted all that time. And now it's like, I don't even think I might have kids,
Yeah.
And that's like a sad thing. Well, also, and Matt doesn't want kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I remember that being a thing. Yeah.
But so like life just throws you weird things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, okay. So now I'm curious because
Yeah.
after all that, it's so interesting to me. You've always been so fascinating because even like with shame and all that stuff, you've always been so confident to me. Like I've always seen you
Really?
so confident. Like the stuff you put online, you're like, oh, like it's just balls to the wall. And
Yeah.
that's how you were as a performer too. So
Yeah.
like I totally am obsessed with that.
Yeah.
So how was it presented to you and how did you decide to do the show Claim to Fame?
Oh yeah. So honestly, I didn't even know the show existed until someone like DM'd me.
I
and
didn't know
was
until
like,
you did it.
Yeah. And then they were just like, you should go on Claim to Fame. And then I like looked it up and then I just reached out to I like literally went online, like put it in an application. They're like, who are you related to? And like put it in and like, then they called me immediately like what? Like
Yeah.
you were talking.
This is a show that
Yeah.
where it's a bunch of people that are related to celebrities get in a group and then there's a competition aspect to it and you have to try to figure out who they're related to. And if you figure it out, then that person is kicked off the show.
Yeah.
And you were kicked off first.
And I just had a complete. Here's the other thing, guys. I'm really emotional, and it was not a fake meltdown. I was really mad, and I do need to like regulate my emotions a little
I
bit
mean,
better.
you went viral for losing it. And I just want to say, when she lost it, I had a friend be like, do you think that was staged? And I was like, nah, man, that's Carly through and through. That's not staged. That's
I
Carly
know.
at dress rehearsal on a Friday. Like that's,
Yeah.
that's I go, she just runs hot.
I
Like
do. I was literally, my boyfriend was filming me the other day. I was having a full on meltdown because Eminem won the AMA award. And I was like, Eminem doesn't even know who I am. He doesn't know that I'm his biggest fan. And I tag him all the time and he never like DMs me. I had a full on real meltdown because like I was sad that Eminem doesn't respond to my doesn't respond to my
She's
stuff.
also a huge Eminem fan and will rap to any of his songs.
Oh, yeah.
Fair. It's
But
great.
yeah, no, I was just really upset. And I think, and everyone thought I was just the spoiled, obnoxious, like, nepotism girl. Honestly,
well, it's also tied to, I mean, now after this episode, like getting to know you more, I'm like, it's tied to a lot of shit.
Yes.
And it all came out all
because
at once.
I thought I wasn't good enough again. Like I was like, why aren't I'm like, I'm the first one out. And I was like, again, I felt like shame, like I'm not good enough.
You had like 30 dresses ready to go.
Mm-hmm. I packed so much and I wore like, I remember asking Shane, the one that was Eddie Murphy's daughter, I was like, should I wear this dress or this dress? Like, I should probably wear like my best dress, huh? And they're like, yes, wear your best dress. Because they all knew I was getting eliminated. And I was like, oh, I guess so. But I didn't even wear my best dress. Anyway, but yeah, no, it was kind of funny. I definitely went crazy.
When you signed up for it, did Tom and Rita know beforehand?
I only told them when I got like closer and I was like, I might be doing this show, and then I sent them links and stuff. They were like, Rita wasn't so great about it, but Tom was cool.
Yeah.
Tom was like, he's like, hope it works out for you, whatever. Yeah. And that was that. Like, but they
also,
they
the
don't...
clue that got you, I was so pissed, dude. I was so pissed. What was it? It was a bench and a bench. And I'm like, yeah, Forrest Gump. What the fuck?
That was the first thing people like saw, and they guessed it immediately. So yeah, no, they were fine with it, but they also like, they're not like in the reality TV world at all. Yeah. And they don't want to be associated with it. So
it's not like
like, so even when their kids, do stuff, they don't want to be involved with the reality TV.
Got it.
Because they're so private.
Right.
That they don't want to do that.
Did you hear anything after you...
About the meltdown?
When
They were just, I mean, I'm sure they were probably embarrassed, and I'm sure they were probably like, that's Carly, like shaking their head, whatever. But like, it's not like a shocker.
Yeah.
I think they were probably like, oh yeah, that sounds about right.
That's on theme. All right. That's on brand. That's good.
Yeah.
What is the funniest lesson that you've learned through all of this?
I guess the funniest lesson that I've learned is
not to corner Michelle Obama.
Yeah, not to corner Michelle Obama at a party and start crying. No, I think the funniest thing I learned is that, like, honestly, you grow up and you just become wiser, you become smarter. You're not so hard on yourself because like when you're trying to figure it out on your own and no one's really there to help you, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So I think I think it's just, I don't know. The funniest thing I learned is just to be like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just don't
judge yourself.
Don't judge yourself. Yeah. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Right.
Because I used to think that I just wasn't worthy of anything, like at relationships, jobs. Like, I got fired from a lot of jobs too, like all the time. Like, I have a big mouth on me sometimes. So I just had to learn that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but like, I'm just always going to be myself. And like, I think that's the best thing I can do is just be myself, accept my mistakes, like, and move on.
Yeah.
Like, let go and let God. Like, I cannot be bound by validation, by wanting so much validation from my family. Like, they don't owe me anything. Like, I feel like they helped me so much with trying to get sober and stuff, that I think that they're not gonna ever like be happy until I'm sober.
Got it.
Do you know what I
That
mean?
yeah, I see. Yeah.
So I think what I've learned is I can't please everyone,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna be myself and accept myself and love the people that accept me.
Yeah.
You know,
Like Matt.
yeah,
I know.
exactly.
I love it.
So it's a hard lesson to learn, and I don't know if I have all the answers yet, but I just know that I struggled a lot, and I had to do it all on my own. I had to like figure it all out on my own. Like I didn't have a ton of like help, and even my sister, like she's so different from me. Like
Yeah.
we could not be more opposite.
Yeah.
And so she was like the good child and I was not the good child. But getting in all that trouble has also taught me, like, you know, if you guys are young out there, like, don't think that you're invincible. You know what I mean? Like, things will happen to you too. Like, I just never thought bad things would happen to me.
Yeah.
And then they did. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not this, like, you know, person that can get away with anything. And I had to learn the hard way. Like, I had to have money always saved in case like some tragic thing happened where I'd get arrested again and I'd have to pay another bill or so. So I was just like, this is unhealthy. So I got out of that pattern of like just, you know, yelling at cops. I was like
not taking accountability.
I was angry. I think I
Yeah.
had a lot of anger in me as well. I had so much anger.
It's all
in me.
connected.
It's so
all connected. Shame, anger, fear, all of it's connected.
All of it. And it was, and just the connection with my family, I think was really the hardest thing on me. I never felt like I was good enough to be in their graces, you know?
Yeah.
And I just was like there, cause they're such iconic people that I'm like, I have to look up to them. And, you know, I just wasn't like them.
Right. Yeah. But now you don't
So-
have that. You don't care anymore as much. You know what I mean?
I don't. Like, I'm happy in my adult life now. Just it's a simpler life. And I'm like, you can't force people to want to love you, you know? You can't like force people to accept you. It just has to like come naturally, I guess. And yeah. I don't know.
Thank you for sharing that story, dude.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, I don't talk about like my criminal history that much, but it really did make me who I am today.
We've had people that have way worse histories than that. So
a DUI in rehab?
Yes. DUI in rehab, no, that's a unique one.
Yeah.
But we've had worse crimes committed. So I will say that.
Yeah, I just yeah, you would never expect looking at me like, oh, she's been arrested a bunch of times. Like but I had a mouth on me. I would talk back to cops all the time.
Girl.
I would be like drunk outside Whiskey A Go-Go right down the street. And I'd be like,
you wanted to get in trouble, dude.
I definitely did.
There's that's a subconscious thing. You wanted to get in trouble.
I think I wanted to. And
if you get in trouble, then somebody cares
attention,
enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah. No. I think if you want my therapist, you got to talk to my therapist.
Dude, I know. I'm like, this is great.
Because a lot of this shit I've done the same thing. And I've gone through.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm dealing with now, like, I have to go back and look at all my court records and stuff because I'm trying to get this like rehabilitation to go to Canada. And it's just so sad. It makes me really sad to look at my police reports and stuff like that. And I'm just like, what was I doing? Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Driving drunk, like, you know, but we didn't have Ubers then either, really.
Yeah.
So Ubers came later.
Don't say that.
I know.
Don't say that.
I'm like trying to make an excuse.
Yeah. You're like, we didn't have Ubers. It's okay.
I know.
Yeah. No, so. I think once you get to like the stages where it's like accountability, I take responsibility, and then you go to this is where it came from. This is how I heal my shame, my fear, my anger. All of that stuff gets healed.
Yeah.
Like all of it.
I know.
And then you can look at stuff. It can still trigger you and you look and you're like, fuck, what did I do now? It's hindering me from doing this. But then you can look at it in a way that doesn't make you have more shame.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. There's this book called Heal the Shame That Binds You, which is really good.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And you should see my book collection. It's literally like
also
alcohol books, and then there's like shame books and like self-improvement books, and then it's like acting and theater.
That's it. Yeah. Girl, those are all my books.
I know.
Those are all my books. Except like alcohol, I think I would have the Bible and then 1 12-step program. Yeah.
Oh, I have so many.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
Oh, so I'm on TikTok at It's Carly Reeves and Instagram at It's Carly Reeves. And what else am I doing?
And hope-
YouTube YouTube is like Carly D Reeves, but
Yeah.
I don't have a big YouTube
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, I think TikTok is, I'm trying to get 10,000 followers, so follow me on TikTok. Eh?
Let's do it. Let's follow her, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you so much.
you.
This was so great. This was actually similar to a therapy session. So
Good. I love it. I love when people walk away with that. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys can join us next week again. Follow me at Nicole Comedy at Nicole Birch Comedy or NicoleComedy.com. And then, of course, at The Funny Thing Is podcast. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yay.